Alright, we're back, and I guess a little bit of what I wanted to do, I tried to do yesterday, but of course, with the first topic I'm going to go into here, I was honestly a little bit derailed, and for a variety of reasons, but I'm not going to go too much into that here. And I guess we'll just get right on into it. Of course, it's some rather sad, unfortunate news, especially in the sports world, and of course, as many of you know, we lost a couple of legends in the world of sports, particularly baseball's Pete Rose, but more notably for me, NBA legend and the first international ambassador in Dikembe Mutombo. I'm about to attack this topic a little bit off unbalanced here, unfortunately. Just for the fact that, for me particularly, I don't have any memories whatsoever, obviously, of Pete Rose's playing career. I just understand the histrionics and all the details going into everything that went on with betting on baseball while actively a part of baseball, either as a player or a manager, and of course, many people frowned on that and still do to this day, which I guess is understandable. I'm not really sure if I quite agree with that personally. One thing I will say about that, though, is I don't know necessarily that I agree with the fact that he still isn't in the Hall of Fame. And even after his passing, it's hard to tell whether or not that's going to be the case. But in terms of where I'm at with everything pertaining to Dikembe Mutombo, again, much more vivid, more stronger, and probably even more personally tied emotional memories with Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that Game 5 that the Nuggets won in Seattle to be the first team ever to beat the first 8 seed to beat a 1 seed in the NBA playoffs, and I'm not sure if that was the first time that had ever happened in any playoff format history. I know that baseball doesn't quite work that way. Can't really speak to the NHL, but this was the first of NBA history, and it's significant. For those that remember, of course, there's that image, and they even did the painting, I believe, at his number retirement with him on the floor, as it was called during that moment, embracing the ball, which, you know, again, that's history right there. And it wasn't long after that, it was actually a few years after, where they went from the first round being best of 5 to all 4 rounds being best of 7. And of course, the trend still continued, maybe not all that strongly, but it's happened multiple times over the last couple of decades ever since. And for me, that's significant, but not only so much just because of it being Dikembe. Obviously, Dikembe is known for, again, not only being an ambassador, but just being a one-of-a-kind personality. You don't really have a whole lot of people that just presented themselves in the way that Mutombo did. And he was never disingenuous, was literally every bit of what you see is what you get, and I gotta say, it definitely affected me deeply. Of course, he passed at 58 due to brain cancer. Pete Rose was 83. I don't remember what the cause of death for Pete Rose was, but it's really sad to see that both of these legends that we've known for a long time to be gone. In terms of Pete Rose, it's sad because, I still do feel as if he's still going to catch a bit of the unfair end of the stick in terms of the Hall of Fame. But we'll see how that goes with time. I don't know if that ever changes. Mutombo, on the other hand, for me, again, I just have a bit more significant ties. Again, it was especially about that point to where I gravitated way more to basketball than I did baseball, especially with the strike that came roughly a year or so after the Nuggets had eliminated the Sonics back in 1994. But all the same, rest in peace to these individuals and condolences to their families, loved ones, friends. Really sad to see, but we're going to move on to much happier stuff, particularly my thoughts on the first month of the NFL so far. I mean, I gotta say right now, definitely some significant surprises, namely the Washington Commanders right now, who currently sit at the top of the NFC East at 3-1, and more than that, even the Minnesota Vikings, who are the only other undefeated team right now alongside Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, really... Anyway, I'm not going to get into any of that, but no, in all seriousness, it's amazing to see the stories we have with both of those. Especially with Minnesota, it's real interesting because of the commonalities between the Commanders and the Vikings. Both picked first-round QBs. Unfortunately, one of them, in the case of Minnesota and J.J. McCarthy, wound up suffering a season-ending meniscus injury, which, again, really interesting to me because I've seen people come back. I figured he'd have been put on IR. We'd see him maybe week 6, week 7 or something like that. I don't know, but they're going to let him sit the season. He's redshirting, and we'll see how that works out. But Sam Darnold is kind of lighting it up right now, I got to say. I mean, it's impressive, and I got to say good for him because between him and Zach Wilson, they've really caught some really unfair shit, to say the least, being with the New York Jets, which now I gotta find out a little bit more funny after this past weekend. Broncos country, if you know, you know. But anyway, no, in all seriousness, I feel like that I like what we're seeing right now just in this first month. And going into the Commanders even, with Jaden Daniels, I mean, he's looking like the strong overall favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. I mean, he's come out just on fire. I see him being unrelenting, and it doesn't seem like he's going to let up. A lot of people had questions about that, being that he is the reigning defending Heisman Trophy. Of course, obviously, that's not going to be defended. Somebody else is going to get that this year. For my money, preferably Travis Hunter, but that'll be something for a whole other video there. Nonetheless, I say that because he's just doing some amazing things over in D.C. right now, and with Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, who got a measure of revenge on the Cardinals this weekend. Sorry, Mom. But, yeah, he actually went in there. They put up a 40-burger on the Cardinals, and the constant to this so far is that Jaden has been nothing short of magnificent, and I don't know if that's going to stop anytime soon, but I think we've been in for a treat, and I can only hope it continues. Just a lot of awesome stuff so far, and definitely more to come on this. But we're going to get into our main topic, which is me playing a bit of catch-up, which it broke over the weekend, actually. And, of course, as you see, Karl Anthony Towns is now a New York Knick. It was a multi-team deal, I believe, involving... It was obviously the Wolves and the Knicks, and I think the Hornets were the third team to offset a lot of financial aspects. But regardless, I gotta say this is really, really interesting to me because I'm needing to see how he's gonna fit into that. If we're being perfectly honest, this dude should literally be Rasheed Wallace 2.0. But he spends a little, well, I can't say a little, he spends entirely too much time outside in three-point land, and really and truly he needs to be out down in the paint. And for me, with him going to the Eastern Conference, especially with the Knicks, there's no reason for that not to be the case. And the only real problem he should have there would be battling the likes of a Joel Embiid. I'm thinking, I want to say a Miles Turner with the Indiana Pacers. And there are a couple of other ones I'm forgetting about right now, but I'm thinking if I'm a Knicks fan, if I'm a Stephen A. Smith, Spike Lee, those types, Cat, get your ass in the post, man. Seriously. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be looking at him again like a Rasheed Wallace type. He's got the same playing style. He's every bit as good a shooter, but he should be controlling the game in a lot of those same ways. And with the Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and a whole host of others that have come along and, have actually been playing some significant roles for the New York Knicks, I can't imagine that, this isn't something that doesn't help them out. Now, for me, the Knicks are the favorite. Oh yeah, how could I forget about the champs and the Boston Celtics? Although, say what you will about Porzingis, I mean, that's a whole other thing. But, to me, this is something where we need Cat in the paint, especially, again, if you're a Knicks fan. But I guess we'll find out about that with time. We'll see how all that goes. I mean, let me know what y'all think. It's fitting that we end this on some orange and blue shit because Broncos country, I definitely owe y'all on that one, so look forward to that. But with that in mind, of course, y'all know what it is. Like, share, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think down below. And yeah, I'm AJ, and obviously there's going to be more.